Everybody, how is everyone doing? Welcome to my corner of the internet. Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel, where we discuss all things Harry, Meghan, and their level up journey. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Wizzy, and it's so good to see you. Let me pause and say hello to everyone in the comment section. So, hi, adorable. You've been here. You made a comment around 6:43 p.m. I think I was out doing something by that time. I doubt if you're still here, but hello, in case you are. Hi, Nubian Queen. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Stevie Rose. Hi, Marcia. Hi, hi, Gwen. It looks like I'm saying hello to you again. How are you doing? Guys, as per usual, we are discussing what is happening in the wacky world of the toxic British media, and it seems for them it's always a case of trouble plus trouble equals to what? Trouble. I say that again. Trouble plus trouble equals to trouble. One day, one trouble. I'm sure for Harry and Meghan, it kind of feels like you're in um not sinking sand that swallows you up, but it's just like you're trying to get out of a swampy area, but the ground keeps trying to suck you back in. Because every time they seem to just try to move on with their lives, not refer to the British media, hope that the British media leave them alone, but nope, 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 nope. The British media try to drag them back with one useless incident or the other. And even when they try to seem reasonable, the reasonable points of view are often drowned out by the louder, more hysterical, power hungry, diabolical power manipulators that exist in the toxic British media world. Anyway, today it has been a little bit chaotic, and it seems like it's going to be that way until Harry's case against NGN, the Murdoch papers, and the Sun have been decided. So I think we're at the beginning stages of it all. And may I just say, this is just my little bit of advice. If you tend to get exhausted with all the media shenanigans, or you are feeling exhausted by the current shenanigans, tap out, take a break. When you have taken a break, then you can come back in, because I feel, just judging by what I have seen today, it's going to get worse. Yeah, it's a case of it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you have to be rested, if exhausted, to dig into the fight. And the fight doesn't just only include just listening to the stories, it's going to get a lot more toxic as the day goes by. So, yeah, if this battle is going to be won, and I can completely see that Harry and Meghan are in for the long run, then you need to tap out now. This is the right time to tap out, take a break, and dive back in when you're ready. Having said that, as I was saying, even when the papers with the reasonable headlines report on anything related to Harry and Meghan, and I'm referring to headlines like this one, where the headline makes sense, logical sense. Look at this one. For the most part, the Daily Beasts tend not to report calmly, logically on anything to do with Harry, but every once in a while they do. And I tell you why I think that this headline is reasonable, because it just follows reason, right? So the headline says the impact of Kate and Charles's cancer diagnosis makes the royal family look fragile. That's a fact, and it's true, right? William and Harry should stop feuding and together craft a resolute monarchy of the future. So it's neutral, it's unbiased language, and it just points to recommendations for how William and Harry should move forward. But the hysterical people who have a vested interest in ensuring that the hostilities remain in place tend to keep drown out, drowning out any reasonable headlines that exist of William and Harry. And unfortunately, William is so insecure that he cannot find the reasonable part of his brain long enough to be able to say, you know what, I made some mistakes in the past. Let me find a way to correct myself. It just seems like there's no reasonable part of his brain where he thinks, because I think for Harry, no matter how things get, how bad things get, there will always be a place in his brain where things can come back. Might not be where it was before, but he seems to be open to reconciliation. It might not be what it was, but he seems to be open to reconciliation. And I think that that is a goal for everyone who seeks maturity in this life, right? Even if you have an issue with someone, the goal is not to beef with the person till the end of days. The goal is to move towards reconciliation when the opportunity presents itself. Anyway, so surely this kind of headline makes sense to any reasonable thinking person. For if King Charles is ill and there's no one to assist William, then surely the next person that will be naturally looked towards to assist Prince William is Prince Harry. But because of William's foolish pride, he would rather expose his family to ridicule and external hostilities. Because once other parties see the weakness in your organization, in your family, they take advantage. And he would rather that happen than admit that he has done anything wrong and make the attempt to reconcile with his brother, Harry. This is a fact which has been noticed by the media and emboldened as they are to as they seem to be very comfortable discussing William and Harry's private matters in the public as though their advice has been requested. They continue to issue unsolicited advice to the family through the newspaper headlines. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever saw in my life. Most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life. I have never known or seen anything like it. Just look at this headline and I'll read you the text of the article. So it says, after Kate's cancer diagnosis, William and Harry should reconcile and save the monarchy, right? Not too much of a challenge with that because it is just factual. It would be lovely if it could be achieved, but on both sides, the mountain between them is so high, it's almost impossible to see given the attitudes of William mostly, not Harry. So the text of the article says no previous Prince of Wales has faced a challenge like the one Prince William now does. The future of the House of Windsor may well depend on how he handles it. It's a double whammy for him. His wife and father simultaneously stricken with cancers of unknown type and severity. And they write this rubbish with a straight face. Can you imagine that? His wife and his father simultaneously stricken with cancers of unknown type and severity. Okay, I'll keep going. An intimate family emergency and a grave constitutional one at that, since his father is the king. William is going to need all the help he can get. This might therefore be a good moment to end the often petty and fundamentally pitiful breach between the brothers and their wives. A reconciliation of the Sussexes and the Waleses would be a truly historic healing moment and a refreshing sign, at least, of maturity and not the least of a required durability in the House of Windsor. So, just like what I was saying, William is likely to be the person who crashes the monarchy due to his inability to make peace with his brother. He thinks he can pay people to be to be as loyal to him as Harry was. He's going to find out. And because he's got that attitude, the media follow suit and even stoke the fire, to be honest. But just look at this headline: Prince William and Kate have put Harry problem to the back of their minds in wake of cancer battle and have no plans for reconciliation during Duke of Sussex's expected May UK visit. He don't want to see you. How many times does the man have to say that? But you know what? There's no point getting frustrated at headlines like this because they do state these kind of things deliberately to reinforce the fact that they don't want anyone to like Harry and to reinforce the fact that they don't want the hostilities to cease. They want the brothers to remain hostile to one another. Because how does Kate have cancer and she doesn't even tell Harry? At least his father had the good sense to call Harry and tell him that he had cancer. You see, and Harry was able to do his own duty as well. Immediately he heard the news, he dashed down to see his father. But if you're going to hide the news, it only shows your own immaturity, not Harry's. Haven't done that, then what do you expect from the man? Of course, it's going to be a public statement. Since you allowed me to hear the news in the public, I'm going to send my kind wishes to you, my healing wishes to you in the public as well. So this person said the Sussexes left in the dark again. Shocking, but not surprising. The monarchy prioritizes its image over family well-being. It's time the monarchy stepped up and prioritized family above keeping racists happy with this continued cold treatment of Meghan. And the cold treatment of Meghan, this commenter has stated here, is actually stating it mildly. It's not cold treatment of Meghan, it's barbaric treatment of Meghan. It's barbaric. Um, Let me look at the comments before I move to the next slide, okay? So hello, Stevie. Hello, C. Hello, Janice. Hello, Novi. How you doing? How you keeping? How's your day been? And William knows he's nothing without Harry. No one cares about pegging William. Absolutely true. The ridiculous headline is an attempt to distract from the hell whereabouts of Kate. Is the real Kate okay? That picture looks like the ghost of Kate. That is a fantastic hashtag. I'm going to use it on Twitter. Twitter has been so much fun lately because I've just kind of got it in my mindset, you know, that the everything that they're doing it. And when I say they are doing, I'm talking about the toxic British media and their bots and and the royal family. Everything they're doing because they just want to win the war. Um, for them, it's not even about the emotion about it. They just efficiently and deliberately telling lies. They don't care who they harm in the process. For me, I'm the kind of person I only get confused about a battle once I am not sure how you feel about it, when I am not sure whether you're trying to, whether it's a misunderstanding and you're just trying to get to a place of peace, even though you sound angry. But once I understand that you are deliberately trying to harm me, oh, that's it. I'm done. I'm a Cancerian. As much as hates the mushy side of me. The warrior part of me is one you do not want to deal with either. Hence why I have a YouTube channel where I talk about them every day. So it's been so much fun on Twitter lately just because, as soon as they bring up a narrative which is intended to smear Harry and Meghan, instantly, right? One of those in the front line happily pushing back and retweeting and tweeting and retweeting. Who is this person? It says there is no war between the brothers. This is a one-sided war. What the media wants is Harry back under the invisible contract so that he will have to stop his lawsuits against the media. BPRED ID Tortoise. Okay. I would agree with you. I mean, this is what I mean when I say that Harry doesn't, he will always have a part in his head where he is open to reconciliation. You might not be willing to fight with someone. You really don't have anything that you're struggling for. If it's the moon, they can have it. The land, they can have it. The water, they can have it. But when you are now fighting for your life, when you're fighting to protect your life from this person who is after you, unfortunately, you do enter the war. Because you have to fight back in order to protect yourself. So, if I say that Harry and William are in a war, it is from the perspective of Harry needs to fight back in order to protect himself, and that is exactly what he started when he stepped back from working as a senior member of the royal family. Mm. Stevie, Isabella, the British media is making a lot of people not like them around the world, which reflects the action of the royal family since they work so close together. Exactly, exactly. Do you know what? Sometimes, when we pray to, this is just my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. When we pray to God and say, "Oh God, protect me from so and so and so and so and so and so and such and such person," sometimes it takes the form of the person you are praying for protection from overplaying their hand. Because if the British media didn't overplay their hand and they were just acting normally, people would be wondering, like a lot of people who have actually now come around and now see Harry and Meghan's point of view. It is because the media have overplayed their hands. And so, while it might be a bit strenuous on Harry and Meghan because they have to go through the process, but it's almost like they're being put through the fire and they're going to come out as pure gold at the end of it all. Hi, Sussex love. How you keeping? Hi, hi. So, and because William still can't find his feet, and he's got the British media leading him by the hand like a toddler. You got headlines like this where you've got William and Kate have put Harry problem to the back of their minds and have no plans for reconciliation during his visit last month. As I said, uh, um, reconciliation with the do nothing and Bones is not part of what is Harry's problem at all. I'm sure his home life is warm, nurturing, and exciting because there's always something new going on their end. It's full of accomplishments. It's full of striving. So he gets to flex his mental muscles, his emotional muscles, and his physical muscles, which is great. It's fantastic. It's striving for life. It's thriving. That's what life is supposed to be about, not in a continuous cycle of nurturing the hate within. Hi, Mercy Dixon. How you keeping? Hi, Sam. And because you've got William engaging in such ridiculous behavior, then you've got those people who, you know, if he sees William sees himself as being too classy to say certain things, and then they send out their minions like Kate Middleton's Uncle Gary, who gave the page six this headline: Kate Middleton's uncle slams fickle Meghan Markle, says she's bad for Prince Harry and our country. And he must have gotten stung really badly by the Sussex squads, because it didn't take a few hours and then he was back apologizing. Kate Middleton's uncle Gary apologizes after slamming fickle Meghan Markle in scathing interview. And then you have this one, Amanda Platel, who really thinks that she knows something about Harry that the rest of the world doesn't know. And I seen that this one has been discussed ad infinitum, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it's just the situation that allows people like Amanda Platel to open her ridiculous mouth to keep on shooting out disrespectful headline, abusive headline after abusive headline, because it's actually gone past the point of this being disrespectful. It's actually abusive now. And someone posted this. This is an article related to something else, but the impacts, the emphasis in this short article is what I want to read to you now. It says, let's also not forget Donald Trump's veiled threats. What this short excerpt from an article, it just exemplifies what they really want from Harry. Okay. And he says, let's also not forget Donald Trump's veiled threat, if he is really elected to the White House this November, that he might expel Harry from the United States for allegedly giving misleading accounts of his previous drug use in his visa application. If he lied, they'll have to take appropriate action, the ex president said. Were this frankly hilarious development to take place, Meghan would presumably be asked to give up her California lifestyle, to say nothing of her hotly anticipated new luxury jam enterprise, and bring Archie and Lily to live in Windsor Great Park, and perhaps go to school with George, Charlotte, and Louis. If you were writing the script out of the royal soap opera, you would not hope for a more delicious twist in the plot. So, plot twist, what they want is for Harry to come back with his tail between his legs, humiliated, and begging for a place among the royal family. Well, you know, they've still not learnt their lesson, and the ancestors are still on the prowl. The ancestors are still on the prowl, and they are going to make sure that Harry and Meghan make it. And they're both very hardworking individuals, and I'm sure they're very conscious of the deadline they've got in front of them, which is got they have to get off their bums, which I'm very sure that they are. They're working morning, afternoon, and night, every spare moment that they've got, to make sure that they secure themselves financially to a point that they will become untouchable by William, no matter what he decides that he was going to do. I was just thinking about Harry and Meghan this morning, and I can understand it, because it's a kind of similar situation that Tina Turner was talking about. And she said that was the reason why she relocated from America to Switzerland, because the press coverage of her was um, felt like targeted harassment. And after a while, she got fed up with it and relocated to Switzerland. And Harry and Meghan have relocated from the UK to America. And now they're going to build the walls of the financial kingdom to a point where they will be untouchable by William, because I'm sure they know he doesn't have to say it. He shows it in every act of his, that he would love to do everything he can to crush Harry and Meghan. So, guys, it's that time again. If you are new To if you're new here, I extend a warm invitation to join our vibrant community. Okay, these are indeed interesting times, times that we will be referred to in history. Many of us might find ourselves navigating uncharted waters because we are in proximity to the events taking place, or we know someone who is. Here on this channel, we don't just skim the surface of the news. From time to time, we also delve into its implications and also take action. So, whether you're seeking the news, or you're seeking the analysis of the news, or you're seeking to engage, there is something here for everyone. And to my returning viewers, welcome back. If you haven't already, feel free to hit that subscribe button. As you know, we are aiming for 3,000 subscribers by the end of March, which will end in 5 days' time. And we only have how many do we need? I think we've got we need 76 new subscribers before we achieve the goal. So if you haven't already subscribed and you think your one subscription wouldn't make a difference, that's not true. Your subscription will make all the difference to me. In addition to subscribing, we encourage you to like, share, and drop a comment. And if you're unsure what to say, just leave a heart emoji in the comment section or any other symbol of appreciation in the comment section. Your engagement means the world to me, to me, to me. All right. And let me look at the comment section before I move on to the next slide. So, see, the monarchy is gone. Those are just kicks of a dying donkey. Do you know what? I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. They are trying very hard to resuscitate what is gone. It's amazing, though, isn't it? It's amazing that it only took 2 years. It's not even up to 2 years. Has it been 2 years since the Queen died? It only took the period from when the Queen died up till now for the monarchy to collapse. Arlington says Kate has never done anything entrepreneurial in her life. When she was here and healthier now, her behavior has always been more Stepford wife, and that is her choice and okay. That is her choice and okay. But for some reason, when Meghan came onto the scene, her desire to be a Stepford wife made her feel insecure around Meghan, who was an accomplished, how did they say, an accomplished woman. She was a millionaire before she came over here. She knew her left from her right, and that just left Kate feeling very insecure. Cookies and Cream says the Sussexes aren't going anywhere. If they were to leave the US, they will never go back to that archaic, racist, jealous, vile, corrupt, brutal, sadistic monarchy. No, I don't even want that for them either. I don't even want that for them either. And no matter what Donald Trump tries to do, Sussex Love says they're only trying to pretend like they're not panicking because William's not up to the job. God only knows how much time Charles has left. For all we know, Kate's not among us. Wait, my popcorn. I absolutely agree. Do you know, like everybody else, I do think that something really serious did happen between William and Kate, and it is very possible, very, very possible that she's not in on this planet, on this plane with us. But let's see how things play out because I do agree that their behavior in recent times has been very panicked all over the place. I did know that the staff of Buckingham Palace were incompetent, but my goodness, my goodness, it's ridiculous to see how incompetent that they are. I mean, it's like someone who And I'm going to say, I'm sure you guys will check me in the comment section, even as I say this, but I'm going to finish the thought because what came to my mind is like the place is being run, but the, the way their actions telegraph, it's like someone who didn't go to school, like he didn't go to university. They're very unintelligent steps that they have taken from the beginning of time. It's kind of like when um, Donald Trump became president. Before he became president, people had a lot of, well, they might have thought, oh, he's loud, he's obnoxious. But because people weren't that close to him, hadn't had that kind of proximity to him to see him on a daily acting, so there was a lot more respect for him. And then he started to open his mouth. And then all the respect people had for him just went down the drain because you could tell that every intelligent thing he has ever said or done has been done by somebody else. Same thing with William. Same thing with William. So when Harry left, they stripped away the shield protecting him from himself, basically preventing people from knowing how unintelligent he was. Now everyone can see him, and then he's shocked that everyone can see him because he has not been this exposed before. And it's too late for him to go to school. It's too late to give him some home training. He's already how old now? 40 something? It's too late to go to school. It's too late to give him an attitude. Is it too late to give him an attitude adjustment, though? Is it? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, having engineered the maintenance of hostilities between Harry and the rest of the royal family, the media have thrust Prince Edward to the forefront and I assume, this is my opinion, that Prince Edward must be ecstatic at the fact that he must now move from behind the scenes because there's no one who can handle things in William, Charles's, and Harry's absence. Indeed, he's one of the greatest beneficiaries of this rift. And I thought to myself, in my notes, I can see that I have written plot twist. Edward is the one, or he is adding to the engineering of the hostilities behind the scenes because he has been waiting for his time to come. I mean, look how happy he is, and him and Sophie, they've been waiting their turn, living in that grand house, calling themselves how many to the throne? I think he's 14th in the line of succession, but he has not really had any power. He's not really had any power all this while. So now it's like, this is my time to shine. Anyway, let's look at what they said about it. So a completely different picture is emerging because when they decide that they're going to put someone at the forefront, they feel the need to embiggen the person up, you see. So they've written this article and they say a completely different picture is emerging of Prince Edward, who seems destined to be the royal family's new leading man, albeit temporarily thanks to both the king and Prince William curtailing their public duties. Although some eyebrows may have been raised over him abandoning his training as a royal marine and for embarrassing the royal family through dabbling in show business, I heard from a man who had a different view entirely of the youngest of the late Queen's four children. He was really a tough bloke, said a former Balmoral gamekeeper who took Edward's deer stalking in the hills around his mother's Highland home. As a result, I've always thought that this picture of Prince Edward, who succeeded his late father as Duke of Edinburgh last year, and has already, with Sophie, his wife, taken on an extended list of duties since the king's illness, should be better known. Not for deer hunting, but according to my informant, for having an inner steel. Inner steel? Okay. Inner steel, though. Edward? Okay. To this hard as nails countryman, Edward was the best of them all. And then you have people reminding us of his trip to the Caribbean, where he presented a photograph of himself to the Prime Minister. Sussex now says, Edward, handle things. You and me both. I have laughed so loud when I saw this article. It's ridiculous. And I think this is in response to my previous question whether it was too late for William to change. Dana says it's not too late for school, but the emperor is naked, and this debacle of the institution exposes what a lame monarch is. C3. And this insistence that they have to cauterize the emotions of the members of the royal family. I mean, they are making them emotionally unstable, and then you expect reasonable behavior from them. It's kind of like, you know, when Cat Williams was on Shannon Sharp's show, and they were talking about Kanye West, and Shannon says, "What does he think about the Kanye West situation?" And Cat Williams said, well, you have said that this man is mentally unstable. And at the same time, you're expecting what from him? I don't know what people want from him. It's the same thing with the royal family. And which is why Harry was really smart to break the chain of the entire cycle of behavior, because if he doesn't, then this is behavior that is going to go continue from generation to generation to generation. And in light of this continuous behavior, which William is pro for, their behavior is not surprising when you look at it through the lens of how they've always been, as opposed to what normal people do. When you look at it through the lens of how it's always been, how they are trained to be that way, their behavior is unsurprising. The damage, the damage to them is unsurprising as well. But because Harry has chosen not to continue in that line, he wants to be normal, because although he might be willing to give his kidney and any spare part of himself to the heir to the throne, but or he would have been, but expecting him not to live a normal life, not to get married, not to live an honorable life, that's just something that was not going to work for someone like Harry. Anyway, hello, Sussex. Reba says, hello, Sussex love. They need a brain and heart transplant. Yep. Murdoch gave Willie that 1 million to control William and for Willie to control Harry. When William assaulted Harry, he knew Meghan had made her man strong enough not to be under William but charting his own course. William is jealous. I think he's gone beyond jealousy now. The man is mad. The man is mad. You know, I was thinking the other day, you know how they said Jack the Ripper was a member of the royal family, allegedly, allegedly, for the lawyers in the room. They said Jack the Ripper must have been a member of the royal family because to date he has not been caught, and it just makes you think, right? For a lot of people who are psychologists or are in that world altogether, they have said that William's behavior, his conduct is concerning because he does behave like someone who has got psychological issues, mental issues. Oh my God. Sussex love. Absolutely, Gwen. Okay, this is not for me. Rhonda says, how come William wasn't sitting with Kate as she made her announcement? Most men who claim they're supporting their mates during a difficult time will sit next to them. So I read this really shady article, which I really should have included in this live stream, but I completely forgot, where they are telling an alternative story. So the alternative story is that Kate, there's nothing wrong with Kate. She just got fed up with William's temper and moved to her parents' home. And she and William have been negotiating terms of continued existence, coexistence. And she only came out because he agreed to her terms, to some of her terms. So I don't know how true that is, but yep, she might have not have been in the same place as William. Or if it is true that they have been negotiating that way and she has not been happy with William, I think that is an indication that they're either on the way to healing or the issues they're having continue. I don't know. That's what I saw. Cookies and Cream said the Royals are their own worst enemy. If they were smart, they would have accepted Meghan. It would have been a wise business move. She and Harry are a positive force for change. They're global superstars. Yes. But you see, the thing is that the royal family convinced themselves with all this mumbo jumbo of being divinely chosen to rule. So it is only through these scandals, it's only these scandals which are piercing their delusions. See, before now, before now, they had always thought that they're the best, they're the most handsome, they're the richest, they're special because they are divinely chosen to rule. After all, they're royal. Look at where they live, look at their influence, and look at their power, and look at the unending luxury. But you know, one thing that always strikes me, it seems like it's a facade, right? It seems like it's a facade because they always seem to do the muckiest things for money. If they have all this much money, then how come they're always seen doing the most ridiculous things? How come? I don't understand it. Why would 1 million be a big deal to William? It's been a long time since £1 million was it, according to the propaganda that they put out there. So the situation should have been that it's been a long time since £1 million should have been a big deal to William. What does he do with the money? What does he do with it? How many velvet tuxedos can one man buy? Right? And the Queen was the one who bought his helicopter. So even that wasn't his money. Okay. He's not buying any houses, he's got palaces. So why was £1 million so impactful to William? Someone who is a billionaire, okay, so he hadn't inherited his Duchy of Cornwall, which only came to him when the Queen died, when Rupert Murdoch gave him the £1 million. But he's always been heir to the throne. Everything he asked for, he would get. He must have had a trust fund more than £1 million when he was a teenager. Like he would get £1 million a month as his allowance. So what does he do with all that money? Good question, Isabella. What did they do with all that money? What did they do with Charles's with his bags of cash? Where is that money going? Good. Where what did I don't understand it. Um what's his name? Charles with the bags of cash. It's been a long time since he was less than 10 years old, where he could say he didn't have access to millions. So how come they always £1 million was such a big deal to William? I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't add up. William never had therapy since his mother's death and is bottled up with anger, which can lead to psychotic behavior. I'll wait until September to process the shenanigans of Will and Kate's behavior and the pig's video. What's happening in September? Weezy, the military changed Harry being around real people who have to work for a living. King Charles built a whole town, but William wants to build 24 homes and thinks he has done something. Oh, dear. Oh. Um, British media losing money needs scapegoats back. Read Spare. I have read Spare. I have read Spare. And I have read Spare, but it's still reading Spare doesn't explain to me because the British media so they okay. You know, the only reason where the 2 points would converge is if we are not seeing things properly. Because if in reality the media homes are owned by the royal family, that is, if you drill all the way down to ownership of the media rags and you find out that the royal family own the media houses, then it begins to make sense. But they've not said that to us. They've said that the homes are owned by Murdoch, Rothermere, and all the other crazy people out there, power hungry people out there. Okay. So if there is a split separation, then it doesn't explain what they're doing with all the money and why they seem ready to sell every part of themselves for this said money. Like if someone did a report on Twitter and they showed the amount of money that they come to the America to compete for. And we're not even talking about millions. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds. Like that's chicken change. Chicken change. They said that the British royal family is worth 80 something billion pounds. So why are you celebrating when you come to do an event in America and you raise 300 and something thousand pounds? Like, hello? Hello? Someone hit me on the head because it seems like something is not making sense to me. Anyway, so let's talk about this Prince Harry being named in Sean Diddy's sexual assault lawsuit story. Right? Uh, so Dan Wooten posted on Twitter. Let me pull up the story because he posted about Prince Harry being named as being named in the lawsuit in the lawsuit against Diddy by Little Rod. And when he did that, he cropped William out of the picture. He cropped William out of the picture and tried very hard to make that story go viral. He tweeted the story about 8 times and was complaining that none of the other mainstream media were willing to pick up the story. Okay? But let's let's talk about it. Really nothing to be worried about. According to the body of the story, the Duke has only met Combs once. The Telegraph understands has never attended any of his parties or concerts. In 2007, Prince Harry posed for photographs with Prince William, Combs, and Kanye West after the two rappers had performed at the concert for Diana at Wembley Stadium. Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, and P. Diddy performed I'll Be Missing You at the event, which was held on what would have been the late princess's 46th birthday. Okay? So, um, Prince Harry was only mentioned in a very so the document on the right hand side of the screen is the court document, and I'll just read out what it says. It's very short. So it's paragraph Q, which is in the complaint filed by the complainant, Little Rod. Among the financial benefits, the defendants, Lucian, Charles Grange, Ethiopia, Herbert Mariam, Motown Records, Love Records, Universal Music Group received for participating and facilitating Combs' SA trafficking venture, where the affiliation and access. So, Mr. Combs' popularity. Mr. Combs was known for throwing the best parties. Affiliation with and or sponsorship of Mr. Combs's SA trafficking parties garnered legitimacy and access to celebrities. See, and access to celebrities such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry. It's curious to me, though, that the other parties were referred to in groups. For instance, you've got, what did they say? Famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry. I'm willing to bet that that was deliberate. I am willing to bet that that was deliberate. I'm willing to bet. Because William was at the same concert. So why did they only mention Harry? They don't even show Harry being as close to Diddy as William was. But Dan Wootton, who believes that it was Harry who was behind him losing his job with GB News, is on a mission. He's on a mission to see what he can do to bring Harry down. So he's pushing every negative narrative against Harry as much as he can. He's just an awful, awful man. But I'm not one of those people who says it's a good idea to ignore your enemies. I think you need to know where they are and keep an eye on them. So we need to know that this is his agenda. And this is what he posted online. See, Prince Harry has been named in one of a number of civil lawsuits against Diddy, but the mainstream media is currently ignoring the story. So he was trying to drive the narrative that people were deliberately ignoring the story because it was Harry involved, and he was showing them Harry's name. But it seems like he didn't read the court document. Oh, he did, but he just knew wanted it to be sensationalized, and so that Harry can become guilty by association. But guess what? The Sussex squad, of which I am proud to be in their number, were on it. I have been on it all day to the point that I'm actually finding it funny. It is so funny how they tried it, and then they started screaming, "Oh, God is so brutal! They're so aggressive." Well, we would be aggressive if we didn't keep coming for Harry. So just stay on your side of the lane, and then, you know, everything will be fine. Anyway, so that's what happened with that. It has been a time and a half on Twitter where the battles are fought, and they were trying it. They were trying it. They keep trying every day to bring something to the forefront. And which is why I say to everyone, if you know you are tender, uh, this is the time to take a break, because it's going to get worse in the months before the court case. And until that court case is decided, this is what we are going to be seeing. We're going to be fighting battles left and right. And this is the reason why writing Spare was such a great idea. Writing the Spare was such a fantastic idea. Have you guys noticed that it's all very calm and peaceful in the chat? I found the troll spray, and it has been judiciously applied. Okay. So I have a new segment which I am calling Sussex Time. It's kind of an interesting one for me, but it all depends on how you see it. So it occurred to me when we did our last video over on Saturday. One of the speakers mentioned to me that she was a new squaddie, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to create a forum for new squaddies to ask questions about the entire controversy? So you can call in, you can ask a question, and then we can have anyone in the audience respond to the questions. I thought it would be a great idea. So I'm going to bring up a couple of questions that people have asked. And if you don't mind, please call in with the answer if you would. So to get this segment going, we're not going to stay too long today because this is school night, but for me it's night already. Rather, actually, okay, it's almost midnight, 1 minute before midnight. Um, but if you are a newbie or you have any questions at all about the entire thing, Harry, Meghan, and so on, while you think about your questions and call in when I open the floor for you to do so. In the meantime, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and if anyone in the audience could call in to answer the questions, that would be great. Okay? We've got a couple of OGs here. We've got Reba, we've got Gwendolyn, we've got Andrea, we've got Sharon, we've got Cookies and Cream. So they can answer your questions as well. Thank you, Antoinette, for the thumbs up on the troll spray. Actually, I actually feel like I am an expert now, clicking through like an expert when I am getting myself ready for for the live stream. Okay, so the first question I've got: why are Harry and Meghan so hated? Who You can either call in or you can answer the question in the comment section. While you are answering that question, I will go through your comments, the comments that I have missed. Let's see. Someone in the media sent his lawyers the picture of Harry with Diddy and William cropped out. That person is suing Diddy. Probably didn't even know about the possible encounter with Diddy. Yep. Thank you, Andrea. I'm glad you got yourself that troll spray. Yeah. I was so excited when I discovered it. It's so peaceful now. And Sharon says, Dan is a baggage for God. Okay. People need to keep being reminded on all social media platforms about the palace's fake Photoshop lies and shenanigans. They need to keep being called out for their malfeasance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrea answered the question. Why are Harry and Meghan so hated? Because Harry married William's idol. You think William was a fan? Dana says because the UK media painted a narrative for them to be public enemy number one with lies. Okay. They are hated because they escaped, and Harry is holding the media accountable for harm done to his mom and him. Yep, that's a good answer. Because she's everything Kate is not. Joanne says because the UK media and royal family wants it that way. They're on a vendetta and revenge tour. That's so sad, though. That's so sad. It's so, so sad for Harry to have grown up that way, thinking that things will get better when he gets older, only for things to get monstrously worse. It's like adulthood is a scam, man. Scam, because all the shields that were protecting you when you were younger completely they drop all the way off when you become an adult. Wheezy, they are hated because they refused to be scapegoats for that racist institution, and they told the truth about the royal family and firm and UK's media's invisible contract. Yep. Do you all remember when M offered something to William to make him feel better when he was feeling sick, and K's reaction to it, according to H? Yeah, she was being very snooty, wasn't she? Okay, so let's do the second question. As a Harry and Meghan fan, how do you deal with the daily vitriol levied against Harry and Meghan on a daily? That's the main question. Do you get affected? And if not, how do you achieve that Zen state of mind? How are you not affected? But let's start with the first question. How do you deal with the daily vitriol? These are questions that I've had people asking me in the comment section, which I thought would be useful to share. So if anyone can give us an answer, that would be great. And Andrea says, every day I wake up to some craziness about Harry and Meghan. You know what came to me? The deportation issue. Adrian says receipts, receipts, receipts. Okay. Receipts, right? So the fact that you can push back with on the narrative with receipts. Gwen says most of the time it pisses me off, then I be cussing like a sailor. Okay. Okay. All right. And this one, if you had an opportunity to interview Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan, what is the one question you would want to ask them? For me, let me tell you mine. I would love to ask them how they put their brand building plan together. Is one of the most interesting things. I actually have so many questions, but that would be the most, because they have put a plan together and they're executing it perfectly. They literally have not put a foot wrong since they stepped back from working as senior members of the royal family. Okay, and Rosalind said, I don't get effects anymore because I know it's all lies. Harry and Meghan are good people, and I pray for Harry and Meghan every day. That's lovely. I do too. Yeah, you're a prayer warrior like me. Tell you what, I'm going to share with you. Yesterday was the second day. I have been trying to learn how to say Psalm 51 without looking at my book, without looking at my Bible. So I can now say it by heart. Psalm 51. And yeah, it is, I am so proud of that. And Joanne says, I try not to take it personally. I realize it's jealousy and envy going on. Okay. Arlington says, I lean on H&M's values and support for their love as they both shared in Spare and the doc. I too believe love wins. It's fantastic. Novi says, I cuss like a sailor nonstop. Good thing I'm alone. If you had to ask them a question, you would want to know how they put up with the lies and hate. Yes. Adrian says, um, how did you end up so fine? True that. True that. Arlington says, I would love to ask, are you happy? And I would tell them I love how they help others, and as long as they're selfless, they will always be successful. I would love to ask them why didn't they just you know, today, when I saw that story that Dan Wootton was trying to peddle, I don't know if you have seen that video on TikTok of people communicating um by email of a lady trying to take some time away from work, but the employer wouldn't let them go. And so they've got the marching drums going at the same time as they're typing. So it was like I don't know if you've not seen it, it probably won't make sense. But I was just looking at it and thinking, I think it's about time that Harry took the British media to international court. Yes, I had that thought today because behavior, their conduct is completely egregious, and he has tried to take them to court in the UK, and it's clearly not working. So, if he can't get them to do what needs doing in the UK, clearly the International Court of Justice is the next place, right? Yes, I had that thought. Andrea says, I enjoyed this podcast, Isabella Banks. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And Isabella Banks, I just cleaned my house. I was so angry with them putting Harry in this mess. I had to work it off. These people will never stop. No, they need to make themselves bigger than the problem. They need to make themselves bigger than the problem. That's why they need to become billionaires. So as soon as um, ARO, American Riviera Orchard, comes up, I am buying everything Meghan has because I want her and Harry to have so much money that William can't touch them any longer. And Delphine says, just keep promoting and reminding them how fabulous the Sussexes are with their humanitarian work. And what's this? International court is a good idea because I don't know how far he'll get in the UK court. Do you know? I was wondering to myself whether Harry would go that far, and I think he will because it is literally a life or death kind of situation. The moment he stops pushing, they are going to come for him, and they have to keep themselves and their children safe. So he has to go all the way until um well, what do they call it? Is it a Russian agreement is reached? I see you, we see each other. I can harm you, you can harm me, but we agree not to harm each other. Okay? Okay. Okay. So, I have one more question for you, and it's a cheeky one, so get prepared. Okay? Please, I need your answers. If you haven't responded so far, please do try to say something. Okay, so a husband and wife separated for almost 8 months, right? Reached an agreement to tell their family and friends after Christmas. But after New Year's Eve Mass, the wife stood up and asked the church to pray for her as she has cancer. Can the husband still announce the divorce? This is the question. A husband and a wife separated for almost 8 months. They reached an agreement to tell their family and friends after Christmas, but at New Year's Eve Mass, the wife stood up and asked the church to pray for her as she has cancer. Can the husband still announce the divorce? Ah, Sussex Love said a Mexican standoff. Yes, absolutely. That's what I was talking about. Mexican standoff, right? And Adrian says part two, part two. They forget Harry has 400 pages to go, right? And that would be released at the most opportune time possible. Mm. H&M Union has exposed the royal family to the gangster family they are and allowed me to witness in real time the 48 laws of power. Narcissistic family indeed. Yes, it does open the discussion about family dynamics. Since um, H&M's Union is not just the royal family, actually, it's the Meghan side of the family as well. Because who would have thought that her father would be that way? And who would have ever thought that the children from that her half sisters and brothers would be racist towards her and they would act racist towards their stepmother? That hurt my heart when I saw that. And the thing about Black people is that we're always so compassionate. We never start off with that at the front of our minds. And so that must have hurt her a lot when she realized, when Doria realized that they were being racist towards her. Let me see the answer to the question. So Sharon says, yes, yes, can the husband, you're saying yes, the husband can still announce the divorce. And Sussex Love says he's already decided that the vows for better or worse do not apply. Otherwise, he's not going to stay and take care of her. He might as well announce. He could at least be honest. That's quite mature, actually. And Arlington says, yes, almost 7 in 10 people are divorced while ill. I heard that statistic. I could not believe it. Because it seems like when they get ill, then the husband cannot cope anymore and she cannot do as much as she used to do. Dana says, no, the public will shame him. Yes, if both parties agree. Does the situation remind you of anyone? Does the situation remind you of anyone? And Joanne Baker says he may find another way to do it. He puts a plan in place to divorce her through the courts or another way. Ooh. Ooh. True believe that's what happened to Psycho William and Kate. William Middlebone will find another way now to get his way. Maybe not. He can't divorce Kate Middlebone right now. and other people, and some other people had got there before I did. Another one is that may apply is there are some people who always seem angry and continuously look for conflict. Walk away. The battle they're fighting isn't with you, it's with themselves. That is so deep. That is so, 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 so deep. That's so deep. And I think I had grown a little. And when I say grown a little, like over 40, when I realized that sometimes, like when you see people acting weird, like in the office, they're just unnecessarily aggressive, or you've people who've got road rage, that's the kind of tact that I take because I just suddenly realized that, do you know what? 99% of the time, this person is reacting to me and it has whatever it is driving their emotions has absolutely nothing to do with me because I'm just going along minding my business. But then again, do you know what? In the world where people don't hold themselves accountable, I first of all do a self evaluation because I might just be the toxic one. I might just be the toxic one. Antoinette says, Meghan's father was encouraged by Scammy, who was jealous of Meghan's career and wanted to spoil the relationship Meghan and her sperm donor had. Did he? Did he? Yeah, I can see the jealousy of Scammy, but it looks like she's always kind of had a mental problem because her daughter, I think her daughter has said that she had to be taken over by her grandparents when she was younger because Scammy couldn't take care of her. I think there's a deeper story when Megan's parents' situation. Sorry, Megan's father's situation. And some people were telling the story that is it Carol Malone or one of those Royal Rota women went and she had an affair with Megan's father. But I think whatever the case is, Megan is aware of exactly what it is, which makes her very certain that she would not have anything to do with her father because she and her father were quite close. And Megan is such a compassionate, empathetic kind of person that I'm sure she would have been willing to overlook a lot. But there's something she knows about that situation that has made her to say, whoa, I can't take the risk of being around you. Okay, guys, if you haven't already subscribed and you're just joining me, we are on course to hitting our target. So if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead to subscribe so we can hit that target of 3,000 subscribers before the end of March. We are 56 subscribers away. We're almost there. We can do this. I just love the way that YouTube gamifies YouTube with numbers. You look at it and you give yourself a target and you say, okay, I'm going to do such and such by this time. And usually, when you put your back into it, you achieve the goal. So um, let's support the channel, please, with your subscription. If you're just joining, if you have been here before and you haven't subscribed, don't wait until the next time you listen. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Thomas appears to be saddled with onset Alzheimer's, where critical thinking is short and paranoia sets in. I heard that Thomas Markle was a runaround Sue. Ooh. 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 That's unfortunate. Okay, guys, that's all I have for this evening. Thanks for the conversation. And I think I will introduce Sussex Time every Tuesday after we have discussed the Sussex news, just so that we can all have a conversation about what we think about the various aspects of what has actually gone on for the last 7 years and to educate those who are just joining the conversation. So, thank you for being here. And until next time, it's Wheezy signing out. Bye.